Hi, this is Chris Hayden, and I'll be presenting today on IMS Global Learning Consortium. So first, IMS enables better learning experiences in a couple of different ways. They are basically a non-profit collaborative pushing for education technology interoperability, innovation, and for the sake of having an impact on learning. So the foundation of their organization and their approach is basically this free plug-and-play architecture that everyone agrees to be a part of if they want to join the consortium. And that allows for the ease of kind of innovative developments and interaction of the products that are a part of the consortium. So basically what happens is members, products, suppliers, or companies can become certified, and that means that they meet a variety of standards that are basically designed for those purposes. So the reason that I chose this consortium is because technology integration is something that I've struggled with at our school, or that I think our school has struggled with, and I'm just kind of beginning to learn about. But I think it's a really valuable approach, and the idea that you're saving time and money, and also kind of ensuring that what you're using is going to be effective through this kind of certification is something really desirable, and I think that that could really help the effort to integrate technology so that it transforms teaching and learning. So in terms of how it actually enables better digital learning experiences, they offer kind of three major areas. Number one is digital transformation strategy. And basically this enables, the improvement of technology in terms of how it transforms what it's meant to, which is teaching and learning. So yeah, the digital transformation strategy, they note that they're actually the largest and most influential consortia in the world, right? And this is going to be really important if they're going to play a big role in next generation personalized learning, excuse me. And basically, right, this is going to allow for the right tools to be selected and combined. And so over here you can see this graph of the number of members, and also the total revenue of those organizations joining and their net assets. And you can see that it's climbing and climbing and climbing with kind of no end in sight, which is good if you're going to join a consortium because you want to be big, right, to ensure that you have a lot of options. So the second is this kind of seamless plug-and-play integration, right? To use their words. And this is basically going to, as it says here, create better user experience and enable greater educational insight. So they have these conformance certified IMS standards that all applications have to conform to. And the purpose of this is to improve the integration of these systems, right? And by conforming to these interoperability standards, it's going to save money and time because you know that something is compatible with something else, right, by being a member of this consortium. The third is this agile and open architecture as well as extensive ecosystem that enables flexibility, choice, and efficiency. So they have another set of standards called the IMS Conformance Certification Standards, and this is basically specifies kind of that all of these elements are following this free publicly available architecture, right? And basically the members who agree to follow this this technical foundation for basically the ease of innovating products and integrating products related to teaching, learning, applications, platforms, and resources. They do mention this kind of like force multiplier effect, which I think is pretty interesting. So by kind of connecting to this consortium network, all of a sudden you've got so many other options available that it can have a really big impact on the organization. So they have 5 main initiatives. Number 1 are digital credentials and pathways. Number 2 are learning data and analytics. Number 3 is integrated assessment. Number 4 is learning platforms, apps, and tools. And number 5 is adaptive digital curricula. And I'll just go through these just a little bit, not every single one, but highlight some of their key kind of sub-initiatives or parts of these initiatives. So the first one has to do with digital credentials and pathways. Here are three of their main kind of sub-initiatives or elements of this initiative. So we have the Competence and Academic Standards Exchange, or CASE, Comprehensive Learner Record, and Open Badges. So we'll look at CASE first. Basically, CASE allows for competencies to be kind of equilibrated or across multiple curriculum, they can be linked together. So for example, you might have Common Core state standards, and you might have International Baccalaureate standards, and basically they can be linked together. So this common framework allows for ease of flow of information, for example, framework rubrics and things like that, and also common understanding and comparison of the different systems that are out there, and there's quite a few. The Comprehensive Learner Record, I think this is really cool. So basically it allows for all of this information. So for example, a student might be participating in co-curricular activities, experiential learning. They may have career-related badges and certificates. They may have taken courses outside of high school or university. They may have other estimates or measurements of their competencies and even related to employers. All of this is basically linked together so that we can get a better picture of the learner. So the next, learning data and analytics. So we have One Roster, Caliper Analytics, Privacy and Security. We'll look at One Roster. So basically, this is kind of similar to the previous, but it's going to link basically a list of students across multiple platforms. So you can see here provision key roster related data, so including course and related enrollment, linking up different platforms that are related or used by the student information systems and learning management systems, and that's going to improve data exchange, facilitate quick transmission of results and things like that. So if we move on to the third, so we've got integrated assessment. This one I think is really cool, and this is the one that I'm going to focus on. So question and test interoperability, or QTI, but there's a couple of other services or initiatives that they have within this larger initiative of integrating assessment. So this idea of e-assessment, we have accessibility. So we want to know whether, basically you can take a test that's, especially that's available online, and you can break it down into its parts, and then you can evaluate them in a variety of different ways, So for example, is it accessible to certain people who might have special needs, Who owns it? Ideally, you'd want to be able, if you're going to break it down for use in another situation, you would want to be able to customize that. So we have this item innovation, In terms of learning platform integration, so we have personalized learning platforms and things like that, computer adaptive testing. All of these are those two different elements. It would be nice to be able to break down someone's assessment into those parts for use in different scenarios or a variety of different scenarios. And then finally, how are we going to get the results to where they're needed and where they can be used appropriately? So it's really the exchange of questions, the exchange of scores, the exchange of structures, and I guess it depends on having a large amount of people join the consortium, and as we noted in the beginning, that's actually for sure the case. This is IMS is the largest such consortium focused on integrating technology. So the fourth, we have learning platforms, apps, and tools. Lots of cool things here. I'm going to focus on educational app vetting. So, with so many applications out there, and if you've ever looked at your phone and kind of, looked around at some educational applications that are available in the Play Store maybe or the App Store, I come across many all the time where, you read the title and you're thinking, oh, that must be great. But then when you actually download it and play it, it falls short of your expectations. So the idea that apps are vetted, meaning that we know if they're going to work in different platforms. We know that they're going to do what they actually claim to do. Are they going to be able to, are they functional in a variety of different situations and things like that? For all of those reasons, vetting of applications for education is a really valuable service, and having knowledge that an app has been vetted means that we can assure that our time and our money is going to be saved, right? Because we know that these basic questions about the app have already been answered. So the last initiative here, so we have adaptive digital curriculum, and there's a couple of different really cool initiatives within that larger initiative. But the one that I'll focus on, just to give you an idea, has to do with Accessforall. And basically this is the push to ensure that specifications related to accessibility have been implemented in an app or a program or something that's up on here. So, for example, this kind of highlights 6 different elements of accessibility specifications. So, for example, legal requirements and international standards, right? If that's not met, then it's going to be a waste of time. And then we have assistive technologies and accessibility settings, platforms, third-party software, and digital products. Many times I've downloaded an app only to find that it's a Mac if I'm using a PC or vice versa. Interoperability and personal needs and preference. Right, so these are all kind of things that we need to take into consideration when, or that would be useful to have known that they've been taken into consideration and kind of explicitly quantified when we're choosing and implementing different systems or applications, etc. So in terms of how this kind of impacts teachers, administrators, and technologists. So in terms of teachers, definitely, right, they're gonna, if they had access to this, then it's gonna impact how they're choosing the technology that they want to add to their classrooms. They can also explore compatible links, and I'll walk you through that in a second. In terms of administrators, right, similarly, they're going to be thinking about this when making decisions about applications. But then I would say that they're also going to be considering how a choice in one subject might affect choices in other fields or even other systems. So, for example, reporting and things like that. And then technologists, I would say, can step back even further, kind of, and look at whole school tech architecture, and even go further to look at trends and maybe future compatibilities of the items and the things that they want to get from this, whatever the case may be. So if we go over here, we can actually see maybe how this might work. So here's Achieve 3000. I've actually never used this, but we're considering to use it at our school. So number one, we can actually link it, for example, vetting. I think you have to log in to see if this app is vetted, and I don't have a membership. We can see what kind of integrations and what things that it could be used in together with. We know that it's been IMS globally certified, which is good, right? And so basically we can also search for compatible products. So let's say I'm a teacher and I want to find what else I can use with this, or I'm an administrator and I want to see how I can link up other things with this. It's all kind of in a one-stop shop. And this, when I was searching for certifications, and there's other actually ways to search. So we've got the standards, right? So if I want to look at, if I'm looking at a set of apps and I want to see if they meet a set of standards, or I can look through a certain organization, let's say McGraw-Hill, right? I'm, maybe using a lot of their products, and then we have categories. So, and also general filters. So it's just a really useful way to explore technology, save time and money, and be assured that that others are on board. So yeah, in terms of my school, how are they using this? They're not at all. But how could we use it? I can think of tons of ways. For example, I mentioned that Achieve 3000. We're really looking into that. And now what I'm going to do is start going through the applications that we currently use and see whether or not they are verified under IMS in the future. So thank you.